The last thing I remembered was the scream of tires, the violent crash of metal, and the feeling of my motorcycle, sliding across the rain-soaked highway. Everything after that disappeared into darkness. When I finally opened my eyes, bright hospital lights burned above me. Machines beeped steadily beside my bed, and every breath felt like it carried the weight of broken bones. I thought surviving the accident would be the hardest part of my day. I had no idea that the woman about to walk through that hospital curtain would completely change the course of my life. Before we begin, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that one unexpected moment can change everything, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that stay with you long after they're over. The emergency room was busy, filled with hurried footsteps and distant voices. But my world felt strangely quiet. My left arm was wrapped in thick bandages. My ribs ached with every movement, and my helmet, now cracked almost in half, sat on a nearby table as a reminder of how close I had come to never opening my eyes again. I stared at the ceiling, wondering if anyone had even been notified. My parents had passed away years ago, and after a painful divorce, I had slowly drifted away from almost everyone I once called family. Success at work had filled my bank account, but it had emptied my personal life. Then she entered the room. She wore navy blue scrubs, her dark hair tied neatly behind her head, and a stethoscope rested around her neck. She looked calm, confident, and compassionate. She glanced at my chart before looking directly into my eyes. For a moment, something changed in her expression. It wasn't just professional concern. It was recognition. She carefully checked my injuries while speaking gently, making sure I was comfortable despite the pain. I couldn't stop staring at her face. There was something familiar about her smile, something buried deep inside memories I hadn't visited in years. As she adjusted the blanket over my shoulder, she leaned closer and quietly whispered, "Do you remember me?" The words struck me harder than the accident itself. I searched her face, replaying old memories like faded photographs. Then suddenly it came rushing back. Emily. She had been my high school crush nearly 20 years earlier. Back then, she was the quiet girl who always sat near the window in English class. She volunteered at the library, tutored struggling students, and somehow managed to be kind to everyone. I had admired her from a distance every single day, but never found the courage to tell her how I felt. Before graduation, I had even written her a letter confessing everything, but fear got the better of me. The letter stayed hidden inside my locker until the last day of school, and after graduation, we both disappeared into different lives. Seeing her standing beside my hospital bed felt impossible. She smiled softly as I finally whispered her name. The warmth in her eyes told me she had remembered me all these years too. As the next few days passed, Emily continued checking on me whenever her schedule allowed. She remained completely professional, but every conversation uncovered another forgotten piece of our shared past. We laughed about awkward school dances, impossible math exams, and teachers whose strange habits had become legendary. For the first time in years, I found myself smiling without forcing it. Eventually, I asked her what had happened after graduation. She told me life had not been easy. Her father became seriously ill shortly after high school, forcing her to work multiple jobs while attending nursing school. She sacrificed vacations, friendships, and countless nights of sleep to achieve her dream of helping others. Looking back, she admitted there were moments when she wanted to give up. But every patient she helped reminded her why she kept going. Listening to her made me realize how different our journeys had been. I had spent years chasing promotions, bigger paychecks, and expensive possessions, believing success would eventually make me happy. Instead, it had left me emotionally exhausted and completely alone. Emily, despite facing hardships far greater than mine, carried a peace I hadn't felt in years. On the morning I was finally discharged, she walked into my room holding the small plastic bag containing my personal belongings. She carefully placed my repaired watch into my hand before telling me something I never expected. Years ago, during our senior year, she had actually found the letter I left inside my locker after everyone had gone home. She had read every word. She confessed that she had liked me too, But by the time she found it, I had already moved away with my family, and she never knew how to contact me. Life simply carried both of us in different directions until fate brought us together. Again inside an emergency room. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. We both understood how fragile life truly was. One rainy afternoon, one unexpected accident, and one ordinary hospital shift had reunited two people who had spent decades wondering what might have been. As I slowly walked toward the hospital exit, every painful step reminded me that healing wasn't just about broken bones. Sometimes the deepest wounds were loneliness, regret, and the chances we never took. Emily smiled as she watched me leave. And this time, neither of us planned to disappear from each other's lives again. If this story is touching your heart, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who still believes that fate has a beautiful way of bringing the right people back into our lives. Special request, before you leave, comment below. Second chances are real. We'd love to know if you believe some people are simply meant to find each other again. A few months later, after countless conversations, shared coffees, and long walks that replaced years of silence, I realized the greatest miracle wasn't surviving the accident. The real miracle was discovering that life sometimes gives us another opportunity to say the words we were once too afraid to speak. And when Emily smiled across the table one evening, I finally told her everything I should have said all those years ago. This time, there was no fear, no missed chance, and no locker hiding a letter. There was only gratitude, hope, and the beautiful reminder that even after life's darkest moments, love and kindness can still find their way home.